Episode 84. Unfinished Business. Once inside the room, Jake could no longer contain himself. Slamming the door shut, he could not wait to pin Serena against the door and kiss her hard. Unzipping her dress single-handedly, he pulled the garment down, revealing her gorgeous shoulder. Under the dim lighting, the sight was quite stimulating to Jake, who had already lost his mind. Holding her waist, he lifted her up and fell into the bed. The soft bed swayed a little. Jake bowed his head and slowly kissed Serena's elegant neck, not missing an inch. Feeling his breath on her neck, she raised her head and put her arm around his body. A tingling feeling was sent from her neck to her entire body. She almost whimpered. She thought that he would always be calm and wise. It had never occurred to her that there could be moments that he completely lost himself. Her collarbone bitten, Serena couldn't help clenching. However, his legs were between hers, so all she could do was to wrap her legs around his waist. Even through what he was wearing, she could feel the scorching temperature of his body. Noticing their position, Serena panted under him and whispered, "Slow down!" Hearing her, Jake immediately blocked her lips again, forbidding her to speak. When Serena was almost out of breath, Jake let her go and responded in a deep voice. "I can't. I have to have you." Pushing her dress further down, he saw a white bralette against her fair skin. The softness almost drove him crazy. Bang, bang, bang! A loud knock on the door made him suddenly pause. Bang, bang, bang! The noise continued, and Serena immediately pushed Jake away, covering herself with a comforter. The sudden pause made Jake's horny body burn even hotter. He groaned. "Who is it?" Bang, bang, bang! With her cheeks pink, Serena saw Jake's unkind look and carefully said, "Go open the door. Maybe Grandpa's looking for us." Jake's clothes were messy. So was his hair. Hearing Serena say that, he went out of bed with a displaced face and opened the door. The hotel attendant did not expect to see such an intimidating face and stuttered. "Mr. Jake? Are you the grandson of the guest in room 389? He suddenly passed out." Before the attendant finished his sentence, Jake had already opened the door and rushed towards room 389. When they arrived at the hospital, it was past 10 o'clock. Serena had always known that Henrik had high blood pressure. However, this was the first time that he had passed out in her 2 lifetimes combined. After waiting for more than half an hour, Grandpa woke up. Jake let out a sigh of relief, poured him a glass of water, and fed it to him. Looking at his grandson, Henrik looked a bit guilty. Jake's face was grim as he told Serena, "Give us a minute." Serena looked at Grandpa and then Jake, finding them both acting weird. Grandpa nodded, and Serena walked out and closed the door. As soon as possible, Serena left. Jake threw a bunch of photos on Grandpa's bed. The photo was taken with a weak light. A woman and a man were kissing on the beach, looking hot. Seeing the photos, Grandpa coughed and blushed a little, feeling embarrassed, and deciding to close his eyes, pretending to not know anything about it. Jake teased, "You were so happy that your blood pressure went up?" Hearing that, Henrik gave Jake a stare and rebutted, "Why do you think it's because of this? Can't I have other things to get excited about?" Jake became silent for a minute and nodded. "I guess I could pretend that I did not see you send someone to take pictures of us in secret. And that I did not know you took our passports to make us share one room?
Boy, if it were not for your grandpa, would you have such a good time? And would Sunshine forgive you?
Your grandson has his charm. He could totally take care of it himself. In addition, what kind of help was that? In the middle of the night, he was so exhilarated that he passed out. Worst wingman ever. Having lost a sure thing, Jake felt his body still had not cooled down. Get some rest, and we will check you out tomorrow morning. Hearing that, Henrik was clearly displeased. He grumbled,
Go away. I want Sunshine here.
Then he exclaimed,
Sunshine, your husband is bullying me.
Jake gave him a glance and put the bunch of photos back into an envelope. Hearing Henrik's cry, Serena immediately came inside. Seeing how sullen he looked, Serena was dazed and looked at Jake, asking, What happened? An old man happened. Jake walked out of the ward with a cold face and said, I'll get you something to eat. After Jake was gone, Henrik asked in a low voice,
Did that boy bully you just now?
Bully. Serena's face immediately burned up. Seeing the smile on Grandpa's face, Serena knew that there was no secret in front of him.
You're good again?
Henrik said triumphantly.
It's natural for a couple to fight, but you should not condone him too much. Show him who's the boss.
Serena chuckled and changed the subject. You want some water? When Jake came back, it was half an hour later. He brought back some light dishes and congee, great for a night snack. Henrik was eating and joking with Serena, while Jake was clearly displeased. Knowing what was going on, Henrik could almost see 3 words written on his face. Needs not satisfied. After eating the food up, Henrik said,
It's all right. I won't die here. You go back now, and I'll join you tomorrow at the hotel.
Although Grandpa said that, there was no way that Jake would leave him alone at the hospital. In the end, Jake sent Serena back to the hotel to rest. Because it was the first time that Grandpa had passed out because of high blood pressure, the doctor suggested that he stay in the hospital for 2 more days. When they went back to the hotel, it was the 4th day since they arrived at Maldives. Having looked after Grandpa for 2 days taking shifts with Jake, Serena felt a bit tired and immediately fell asleep. After a while, a soreness on her waist woke her up. She immediately realized that it was hard for her to move around. She opened her eyes and saw Jake's handsome face. In his sleep, he looked less cold and sharp than he normally did. His arm was around her tiny waist, and one of his legs was on top of hers. She noticed their position and blushed. He was cuddling her. Did he mean to do that? Carefully, she turned her body around to move his arm away, afraid that it would be embarrassing if she woke him up. However, no matter how Serena moved, Jake just would not budge. His arm was almost stuck there, not moving a single inch. Serena slightly lifted his leg up, but when she thought she was about to be successful, he put his leg on top of her again, securing her legs in place. Then, he suddenly turned around and hovered over her, gazing at her with still confused eyes. Startled, Serena felt her heart racing, staring at Jake.
You're awake?
Maybe it was because he just woke up. Jake's voice sounded a bit hoarse. Before she said anything, a storm of kisses fell on her lips, taking her words away. Serena stared her eyes wide, trying to push him away. Releasing her, Jake's breath was hasty as he whispered,
"Could we continue the unfinished mission?"
Serena's face started to burn as she shook her head. "Get off me! I need to run to the bathroom!" With the soreness in her waist, Serena also felt something was flowing down her legs. She knew what had happened and must go take care of it. It would be so embarrassing for him to see it. Jake pursed his lips, looking displeased. But he soon turned back and lay down again. Feeling relieved, Serena quickly went inside the bathroom. Indeed, she got her period. Fortunately, she was prepared. She took out the tampons that she had hidden in the restroom and went back to the bed. A huge hand immediately pulled her over, and a passionate body covered hers. In the first 26 years of his life, since he never knew what sex was like, it was okay to hold his desire back. However, he had a taste of her on their wedding night, which he could hardly forget. One of his hands covered her soft breast, and the other reached under her skirt. Grabbing the evil hand, Serena said weakly, "I just got my period." Jake paused and became silent for a while, before he cursed coldly. "Fuck!"